You know what's so odd? I think most people will pass out the sight of blood. I know I did. One time I was with my mom years ago. They had to take some blood out of her. And I happened to be sitting there when the nurse was attending to her. She wasn't sick, she was just getting a checkup, but they took some blood tests and they drew it out in those syringes. And right after the blood test, we went home, we went shopping. And I was driving. And I barely got to the car. Barely. It was in my satellite Sebring. She looks at me, my mom, she says, "You think you can drive?" I said, "No." I said, "I'd rather be drunk," because after seeing that blood drawn out of her arm, I had to go to the trunk of the car and lean on it. I couldn't hardly get into. I said, "Let me get in the passenger." I said, "You drive." And so I let her drive home. But that bothered me. I think it does a lot of people. But I watched brain surgery. Here's where the brain, it's amazing, huh? But I watched brain surgery on PBS here about 10, 12 years ago. It was an hour long, and it happened to become, we didn't have cable, we just had regular TV, but I guess the weather condition, it was at evening, about 8 o'clock. It happened to be coming in real clear. Yeah. Sometimes PBS, little fuzz, it ain't coming in clear. But boy, this night was coming in super sharp. They had brain surgery. They was taking a tumor out of the lady's brain. I thought, I'll get sick. So I thought I'd watch it anyway. It didn't bother me a bit. I watched the brain surgery, real brain surgery, for an hour. It's real. The brain's real grayish, snotty looking, bleeding. And I watched them take that tumor out. It didn't bother me. Ain't that odd? You would think, because isn't the brain an organ? What is it? What's technically an organ? When it performs a function and secretes, is that technically what makes an organ? Is that what classifies an organ? When it performs a function and secretes or waste or whatever you want to call it? I think that's what what constitutes an organ. Anyway, I watched that for an hour. It didn't bother me a bit. No, but that blood, I don't know if I never make a paramedic. Well, I won't mention her name, my cousin, she's an RN now, been one for years. And I was told that when she was becoming an RN and when she was in the surgery with them, training, they had to put a thick rubber mat on the floor because she kept passing out. She passed out 6, 7 times from the blood when they do surgery. Now it doesn't even bother her, I was told. And I got a aunt that worked in a nursing home studying to be a nurse. And what they call them, candy strippers, where you got to clean up people's in nursing home you got to clean up their messes. In other words, their stool, their crap. And she said it made her sick as a dog. She got so used to it, she could eat her lunch. Sometimes she didn't have time to eat lunch because she's busy. A lot of old people there. She said she'd eat her lunch and clean that up at the same time. And she was sanitary. But she had to. She was hungry. She had no lunch break. Of course, there's federal laws, but you know how that goes. Anyway, either that. Well, I don't think she ate. I'm sorry. She cleaned it up real quick, washed her hands, and ate a quick lunch. That's what it was. But she says, even after cleaning, I got so used to it. Even wash my hands, I could eat that lunch and not get a bit sick. But before that, she couldn't eat her lunch because she gets sick thinking about that. But it's your brain. And I got a good one here. My Uncle Pete knew this guy that worked at he knew of this guy needed a job, and the slaughterhouse is hiring. All right, and they gave him the worst job, low on the totem pole. He had to, from what I remember, he's the one that had, after they killed the pig, had to gut him. Oh, he said it made him sick as a dog. But he's in a county that's high unemployment, and he's lucky to have a job. Anyway, he's got to gut this pig and clean him out. His blood, it's horrible. And he said he spent a week puking his guts out. Well, my Uncle Pete hadn't seen him about a month, and he seen him at the store. He said, "Where are you working?" I forget his name. "Where are you working at, Joe?" He said, "I'm still at the slaughterhouse." "Well, I heard you couldn't handle it because you was getting sick." "Oh yeah," he said, "I threw up for a month." He said, "Now it doesn't even bother me." He said, "Plus I get all the free bacon I want."